Hi guys, welcome back to part 3 of the Winter Diaries. If this is the first one you've seen, basically what we got here is a Yamaha R1 5PW 2003 engine. So it's fuel injected, roughly about 170 brake, and then a classic Mini. Most of it's fiberglass, carbon, perspex windows, so we kept the weight down. It's about 530 kilos, so power to weight is doing alright for itself. Still on a chain drive, but anyway, so part 1 and part 2 of the Winter Diaries, we done new head, done bits and pieces on the engine, we done the suspension, so I've changed all the suspension because in the first season wasn't really how I wanted it to be, so hopefully when we take it out this season it's going to be a lot more predictable. And then this one we're basically going to be doing a new fancy dash, which is, well, we'll see. I'll show you in a minute. Right, so as I said, we're going to keep the dash basic. This is pretty much everything to do the dash. So we've got our gauges, got an adapter here so we can put a low oil pressure switch in line with the oil line. Got LED strip, which is RGB, which we'll go into a bit more detail with that later. This is the old loom, which we're going to be adapting to work with the new setup I've got. Some nuts and bolts, a little 5-pin relay, so we can switch between two, which is to do with the lights, and then a bit of alley rod, which we'll go into some more detail with that, but that's going to basically mount this bit of perspex, which is going to be the actual dash. So this is what I've come up with an idea of the dash. So you can obviously see the gauges and that are going to be in there, and then we'll make this out of perspex, but I'm going to use this to get the right position and everything I want. So I've sat in the car, worked out a height I need. So at the moment I'm making up these supports which are going to mount the dash. So you can see this is one of the rods I started to make up. Right, so as you can see here, we've now got all the basic bits ready to assemble the dash. So we've got our support bars here, just need to drill another hole in that, and then we've got some riv nuts, you see, go in the end, finish them off. These two bars are now bent up, they're for the top supports, so they should be good to go on. This is now all cut out, ready to go, got our LED strip cut, so now we're going to start the assembly. so we just let that set, and then we can move on to the next bit. So this is something I've added in as an extra thought. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a control box below it with all the wiring in, which should keep this a lot cleaner, so I should still be able to see through and you won't see as many wires behind. So all these wires are going to run into the top of here. I'm going to mount this in here, and I've already turned these LEDs on just to check they're working, and they're pretty bright, so I'm going to add this dimmer switch into here so we can dim the dash down so it's not sort of dazzling in your eyes. So fit that next. Right, so before we go any further, this is all in theory, it's never actually been tested. So I'm going to now just move it over to the car, plug it in, and just see if we're heading in the right direction. Fingers crossed. Right, so I've plugged the dash in. This is a genuine first time, so I have no idea what's just about to happen. Here we go. Oh. Right, well that's supposed to be red, not green. And then when the oil pressure increases, you should get red, like that. It's quite a simple fix, we just need to swap the green and the red wires over. So this is just a single colour LED dimmer, positive and negative in, positive and negative out. Right, we're going to take this back over again, plug it back in and just check that that all works. It's better. That's on start up. Then take the low oil switcher out. And then this is on now on a dimmer, so we can adjust how bright the dash is going to be. I haven't put a dimmer on the red side of it because I'd like that to be nice and bright. So I've actually got a warning of what's going on. So this is a dash basically wired up and mocked up. All these legs are going to come off and be painted, but that's pretty much it. I've got on the back of here 3 grommets that I've drilled in. I'm going to have one for the gear indicator, one for the shift light, and then I've got a wire coming off of there which goes to the speed sensor on the wheel. So that is basically complete dash. Nice and light, nice and simple. Done. So I'll stick them down. And that should be it. I'll just take a moment to thank everyone who subscribed to the channel and all the comments you leave. Most of them are pretty helpful, and I try and get back to as many of you as I can. We've got a couple of months left and then we're back on track again, so you bear with me through these winter months where we're doing all the upgrades and stuff, and hopefully I can give you some better footage for next year. Also got a new GoPro 8 on its way, so hopefully we'll have some nice action shots for the year and my driving improves, so should have some good fun.